hi everybody. I just thought I would bead my bracelet and take it off the elastic and put it on wire, which I've done because I'm doing the intro now that it's over. So the things that you will need, in this case, this is just a simple bracelet and I'm using toggles. And these were like really cheap at Michael's. You will need some wire, and this is 0.015, and it's very fine wire, and it's all screwed up the way it comes out because my granddaughter was beading. I taught her. She went from leather and plastic beads to real beading. It's a very thin, pliable, and easy to use. Be careful when you tug and pull on this, it will cut your fingers. You need some crimpers. These are the things that will stop the beads. And they normally come in these little containers. And I say in the beginning, buy everything cheap. You will need some pliers, needle nose. I have a real nice set of Craftsman. It was given to me by my late brother-in-law. You need some tape as a tape stopper, as a bead stopper. They do make official bead stoppers, and that is to, when you cut, like bracelets are normally 7.5 inches long. So when you cut the wire, you want to make it like 9 inches. You always need room to play with. And you will want to put something so the beads don't fall off as you bead them on. So you just take a little bit of tape, put it on the end of the wire, and it will keep the beads from falling off. I do have official, they look like little, oh, I don't know, springs that have, you know, you pull them together, put it on, let go. And sometimes I use them, but most of the time I don't, because they seem a lot heavier than what I'm beading. So that is this. I mean, you need beads. Go find some beads. You might have beads. You might have a string of beads that broke, and you want to turn them into a bracelet. Cool. Clasp. You've got to, you know, figure out how to take whatever you're making off and on. Tape, crimpers, crimp beads, you'll see, you squeeze them to keep them on the bracelet. The example being that little silver part sticking out from the bead. That's a crimper. Wire, needle nose. You can use your husband or boyfriend's if you don't want to go buy some. Mine are spring loaded so that I don't have to apply as much force to get them to work. I highly suggest them if you're going to bead a lot. If not, cheap, just go to the hardware store and buy $1.99 or whatever the cheapest ones are. And I like these little plastic stackables. You get them at Michael's sometimes for $1. And to put your beads in. So that's about it. That's all you need. And I hope you enjoy this. It's going to be, I'm shaky. So again, if you want a professional one, please go somewhere else. I bead a lot, and I just thought I'd show you what it's like when I bead. Okie dokie. Let's go. We have everything we need. We have the wire. And the average wrist is, my granddaughter was beading. And so you find that when grandchildren are involved, like this used to just come right out. Get an old pair of scissors. So we're going to do that. Now, I have a bead stopper, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to just put a piece of tape on, and I don't need anything that thick. I'm going to put a piece of tape on. And it can be any. I just tend to work with painter's tape. Because you know when you paint and you have all that tape left over? That's why. So this is, like I said, the bracelet that I want to put on wire. Because see, this is, let's see, this is 0.015, the thickness, which means it's a very thin but very strong. And be very careful when using wire, because it is very deadly. So let's cut my bracelet. And again, if you want a professional video, go somewhere else. Because I'll be lucky if I can cut this and not have it go all over. Because I like the layout of the beads. So let's just string them on. And you don't have to be good at this, because I'm not. And I make jewelry all the time. The smart thing would have been to try to feed it through. I wonder if I can feed it through. Well, it has elastic in it. Oh well. If not, don't worry, I'll fast forward this part. My problem is the lighting here is not the greatest. So, just see the hole. There it is. See, I normally have a piece of leather, but it didn't seem to want to show the bead very well. So, and I'm pretty set on keeping them in this order. I don't know that there is an order. Is there? Yeah. It's a dark, it's a real, these are real turquoise beads. And when you first start beading, you can look at it as two ways. Go to Michael's and get cheaper beads to practice, or just keep making, or buy expensive beads and keep making it till it works for you. I did the first one. I bought not plastic but pretty dirt cheap beads, and then I just kept making stuff for everybody. Then after a while, when I felt like I could really bead, I started making really nice things. I had a little bit of a hand up in beading. I had been taught by a jeweler to hand tie beads. I just was lucky enough to live in a neighborhood where there was a very nice older Jewish man. And so see how there's that really light turquoise one? I throw them on. I don't like anything to be just really too set in stone. A real, I don't know, what would you call it, organized set of beading. It's really strange doing it this way for the camera. I normally set over my beads a little. I have a beading board. I have a black piece of leather. Leather is the best to bead on, in my opinion. It keeps, for some reason, it keeps the beads from rolling around. Like on leather, they don't seem to roll around even as much as they do on this. And if I can bead, anybody can, as shaky as I am. I have medicine to take my shakes away, but I don't feel like falling asleep in an hour. Because it works really fast, but then I get really tired. So, just have to put up with the shakiness. It won't kill you. These glass beads are cool because they actually have specks of turquoise in them. I found them to be really cool. But anyway, so back to beginning beading. There is no real way to bead. There is no perfect way to bead. There is no way as far as putting the beads on. You put them on the way you like them. And that doesn't mean that there has to be black, white, black, white. I like them like with these. This is not a turquoise. I don't believe it's a turquoise bead. It might be. I could look on. I still have a few of them left. I could look on the package. But boy, the elastic is really starting to show wear and tear. Good thing I'm doing this. Checking to see if it's still recording. Wow, cool, it's still recording. So, basically, most wrists are 7.5 inches. And the one thing that I warn people when they first start beading is that is with clasp measurements. So you have to adjust. The first thing you should do is measure your own wrist to make sure. That's why I say the average is 7.5. 7.5 works for me with clasp. Cool. Poor elastic. I think that the elastic bracelets are fun to wear. I just tend to be, in case you haven't noticed, I never take off my rings. I never take off my necklace. I do take off my earrings at night. But the rest of the jewelry I keep on. Unless it's just inconvenient for me to, like when I work on certain things I can't wear them. So there we go. So to finish this off, one, I need to figure out how many inches it is, because like I said, I need 7.5 inches. So there it is. 7 or so, just a little over. The clasp, I should have opened them up. I'm using just toggles. They're nickel plated. Come loose, please, come loose. They're not real expensive, by no means. But if I really, really want to wear this the rest of my life, or well, I hope it's still pretty much the same angle. I'd change out the battery. So, again, this is 7, more or less. So maybe a little longer. No. There's tight. 7. And the clasp, you have to take it into account, which is about a 1/2 inch. So this works out perfect. I don't have to add any beads. I didn't want to have to dig for these beads. So see, that works out pretty much perfect, because it's going to be about 7.5. So let's get to the next part. We have crimpers. We need crimpers now. to put on the, we have several different kinds. Today I use these. They're like barrel. I started out using round ones, but I found that I like these little barrel ones better. And I wish I could tell you which one. They're definitely not as big as these. And these are size number 4. So it'd be smaller than a size number 4 because these are pretty big ones. I use those in making. So I pretty much, you put on the crimper, then you put on, God, these have really thick attachments. Then you have to, this is where that stuff really helps. Then you have to jump over that, go back through the crimper, which I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Go back through the crimper, grab a hold of it, and then I go through several beads. I go like through at least probably 3 beads. I just think that even though I used glue on them, I still think it just kind of fortifies it, because the object of when I make jewelry is I really don't want it to break for life. I want to be able, if I want it, to wear it every day. So I do the best work I can. Now you want to pull it tight, but not too tight, because it will just really, so you kind of pull it, that's too big of a loop. So that will work. See, I don't know if you can see that. You don't want it too tight, because it actually will. So again, remember the pliers. So I pull them close, and then you just squeeze this. And when I say squeeze, I mean squeeze it. I turn it over and I squeeze it again. See how it flattens out? I like the look of that. But see how I left room? If you put it too tight, this toggle will be stuck and it won't be able to swivel around and be more, it's far more comfortable to wear if it swivels around a little. So you really just don't want to, you know, that's just my personal opinion. Some of these things come from experience of making stuff. I like the toggle to be able to move around a little for putting on. So here I take off my tape and I get another crimper or 2. Put it through. I don't need 2. Nope, you only need 1. And then I need the other end. Oh, gotta get the metal out that was attached it to the. So again, we put the crimper on first. Then we put the other end of the toggle clasp on. And this is how you make necklaces. Here's pretty much how you just the basic things you need to bead. Other than learning how to put on jump rings, it's pretty much what you need to know to bead. So as you can tell, the reason why I thought I'd make this is that it, other than buying some beads, some wire, some crimping beads, and you can buy way cheaper, these are more expensive crimpers. You don't need 50 different kinds of them. One kind will do. I suggest the smaller barrel ones. Run it back through. Now I'm having trouble with lighting. And run it through some beads. I got it through that one. So let me pull it top a little. Now I'll run it through some beads. Now I'm going to glue the bead, the last bead where this is cut on both ends, because I don't want to get poked by them. In the beginning I'd get poked by the ends of the wire, and I thought, how can I do this? But anyway, I think when the older Jewish man taught me to bead is when I really thought, oh, I love doing this. So as things became available to buy, it's like I said, this is, if you need a professional video, go somewhere else, because I shake too bad for it to be a professional one. So I'm just trying to get it through 3 beads. Here, hold on. Let me hold it up higher. Be right back. So I've got it through all 3, or 3 that I want. Now I need to be able to pull this to get all the beads together, because see how they're slacking there? So I need to figure out what the problem is. There it goes. So this is where sometimes you need your pliers to pull them through, because the problem with using metal wire is it will cut you. And don't think it won't, because it will. I've gotten cut really bad from it. And you just keep pulling on it till you get it the way you want it. Like I said, I don't want to get it too close, so that's probably good for me. So again, squeeze, and then I always turn it over. I don't know why. There's no rhyme to this. It's just how I do it. Squeeze, then I cut. Then I cut as close to the bead as I can get. And these are really just like really, you know, old scissors I have. Don't use good scissors, it messes them up. Cut. And voila, one bracelet. Oh, I forgot to put the thing on it. Oh, it's on a jump ring. I can put it on when I decide where it wants to go. I think I'll when doing jump rings, you don't want to pull them apart. They're not designed. Oh, I think I super glued this one. Maybe not. You twist them open, which I can do that later. So, oh, and a cheater way to put on bracelets. If you can't get it on, tape one end of the bracelet to your wrist. Here, hold up. Let me put the bracelet. Voila. And I think it's a little too big, so I may be taking some beads out. Yeah, it's too big. That gives you an example. I've been wanting to do this just so that you can see how easy it is to make jewelry. Oh well. It's not hard to fix it. I think it's just hard to make jewelry, you know, with at a certain angle for the camera, but not for me. So I'll just pull it apart right now and fix it, because I want to wear it every day. And put the praying hand up. Is it the hand of evil hand? I don't know. So that's basically, like I said in the beginning, that's all you need to have to make a necklace. And necklaces are made in like three sizes. They're normally like here, here, and then here. And then some people make them, like I say, below my bra line. But I don't know all the information. I have a beading board which gives you all these measurements. But what, you know, like I said in the beginning, what you need is like the bare bones. And buy as you go. If you want other class, buy them. Just buy as you go. Then that way it won't cost you a lot. Well, have fun beading.